All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostle elders, a great millstone who rule well. And salutations to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shati from the Chicago camp, coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And no, it is not going to be about Dragon Ball Z, even though that shirt is looking pretty tough. No, yeah, I'm going to play a video, but for some odd reason, I can't. There's some videos you can't rewind or fast forward. You just kind of got to let it play. This is one of those videos. And I'm not going to say anything. This is one of those videos where you just got to let them cook. So without further ado, we'll let this video play.
Look, I'm gonna just keep it completely real for a second, and we need to just stop walking on eggshells. I need to talk about something that makes absolutely zero goddamn sense, and I'm tired of everybody pretending they don't see it. So look, no disrespect to Jewish people at all, but I genuinely don't understand how you could have the privilege and opportunity of a white person, but act as or more oppressed than a black person. And I'm not saying this to minimize the Holocaust or say that the Holocaust was good, because genocide is bad no matter what. But the difference is, you guys got endless amounts of opportunity, reparations, wealth, and success before, during, and after that shit, okay? Other people such as indigenous and black people didn't get shit after their genocides, massacres, slavery, etc. So don't do that shit, okay? Because it's not the same. And I'm not trying to compare or minimize pain, but Middle Easterns go through way more shit than you guys do, especially since the Israeli government is and has been causing 98% of the problems in the Middle East and around the world for generations, for decades, for centuries. And I'm not making this video to be anti-Semitic or call out or cause hate speech against Jewish people. That's another thing. Every time you guys get called out for bullshit, you immediately deflect and try to use that anti-Semitic card to protect yourselves and avoid accountability. And it's crazy because Zionists in America and Israel get the benefits of white privileged people, but talk like they're black people during slavery. Who the fuck is oppressing them now? Because it's not the 1930s or 1940s anymore. Who the fuck is oppressing them? And look, I'm not calling out all Jewish people, saying all Jewish people are bad, because that's not fair and that doesn't help any of us move forward. But there is a real consistent generational and cultural issue going on here that needs to be addressed. Think about how messed up this is. We're told to look at history a certain way, but when you look at the actual facts, the math doesn't add up. Black people were kidnapped, enslaved, and had their entire identities ripped away for 400 years, and when it ended, they got told to just get over it. No checks, no land, no help. Indigenous people had their entire continent stolen and got pushed onto reservations, and the government gave them absolutely nothing. There were so many other genocides and systemic failures like Haiti, Pol Pot, but when the Holocaust happened, the whole Western world stepped in. Billions of dollars in reparations, massive global support, and the power to build serious wealth and influence. You cannot sit there with all that modern power, living with total white privilege in America, and act like you're still the underdog. It's a slap in the face to people who are actually catching hell in the streets right now. And the wildest part is the total lack of accountability. The Israeli government is literally dropping bombs, stealing land, and wiping out families in the Middle East, causing massive problems across the world, even since biblical times. But the second anybody stands up and says, hey, what you're doing is completely evil, they immediately pull out the victim card. They call you anti-Semitic to shut you up so they don't have to answer for the messed up things they're doing today. You can't use what happened 80 years ago to excuse the fact that you are playing the bully right now. It's a cheap trick to avoid accountability. And people are finally waking up and calling it out. The root of the whole problem is that the people running the world have created a double standard for human pain. They decided that some trauma matters more than others because it serves their political goals. They let one group use their history as a permanent shield to do whatever the fuck they want, while black, brown, and Middle Eastern people are told to shut up and deal with the ongoing violence and poverty and systemic oppression and the amount of getting fucked over by the government that the system locks them into. The only way we fix this is by stopping the double standards completely. A body in the dirt is a body in the dirt, and a bully is a bully no matter who they are. We have to stop letting people hide behind the past to justify hurting people in the present. Everybody needs to be held to the exact same standard and get the same amount of equality and equity, and nobody gets a free pass to oppress others just because their ancestors went through a tragedy. True justice means calling out the bullshit wherever it is, flat out, period. And let's look at how the system protects this double standard, because this is where the real game is played. I'll give y'all an example. If a black person talks about the legacy of slavery, or an indigenous person talks about their stolen land, the world tells them to stop complaining, shut the fuck up, move on, and pull themselves up by their bootstraps. It happens so long ago. But the second you point your finger at the Zionist establishment or call out the Israeli government's actions, the entire system orchestrates a hit on your life. They try to take your job, cancel your contracts, cancel you, ban your social media accounts, fuck with your bank accounts, destroy your reputation overnight. Shit, and other times kill or assassinate you. Why is it that calling out one specific group can cost you your entire livelihood while the systemic oppression of everybody else is just treated like casual debate? It's because it was never just about a tragedy in the 1940s. It's about protection of power. The elite built a fortress where they get to use their historical scars as a multi-billion-dollar political corporate shield, while the rest of the world is left bleeding in real time. If you have the power to silence the world, you aren't the one being oppressed. You're the one holding the microphone. You're the one controlling the textbooks and the history books. You're the one that controls the narrative. Stop fucking playing. Look, I'm gonna just keep it completely real.
And with that, we're gonna say, no, I'm just playing. but for real, what do you say after that? What do you say after that? That man told no lies. Zero. Zero lies. Everything that this man said was 144% on point. And see, if this guy knew the ultimate truth, he would know that the reason why they're doing this is because they want to be us. They want to be the Israelites. They, meaning bad Uncle Esau, the Edomites. All right, they want to be Jake, and they want to have the blessing of Jake. Because when you read the Bible, you read about all the characters of Jake, characteristics of Jake. They're good. All right? Their ultimate end is good. All right? When you look into the characteristics of Esau, it's all bad. His end, even worse. When you go to Genesis, what's that, 27? Actually, I think it's 25. Let me see, was it 25? Yes, Genesis 25. And we'll start at 19. It says, these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian of Padan Aram, the sister to Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated Yahweh for his wife because she was barren, and Yahweh was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? Because pregnancy is supposed to be a good thing. But she was like, this is not good. This is not good at all. She's like, I'm going through way too much stuff. So it says, and she went to inquire of Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. It says, and when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So he was the first. Let's go back up. It says, in verse 23, it says, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. So Esau came out first, meaning he's the elder brother. And it says, and after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old, and when she bare them. Okay. And so right now we already have it set up. Esau was born first, so he's going to serve his brother Jacob. And it said one nation is stronger than the other. Okay? Who are the best UFC fighters, the best boxers, the best Muay Thai fighters, best wrestlers, the best basketball players? It's Jake. It's all Jake. And it says, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man in the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Now, we've gotten this before, but we're going to get that word plain in Genesis 25. It says Tham. It says perfect, complete, perfect. One who lacks nothing in physical strength. One is stronger than the other. Beauty, etc. All right. Why do you think you got all these videos talking about, like, finally, I can confess that I have a thing for black men, or I've always had a thing for black men? All right. When you see guys that are in shape and on swole, Jake just be on a whole nother level. It says sound, wholesome, an ordinary, quiet sort of person, complete, morally innocent, having integrity, one who is morally and ethically pure. It says pious, specifically gentle, dear, coupled together, perfect, plain, undefiled, upright. So that's what it's saying about Jacob, that basically he was born perfect, lacking nothing, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. He lacks nothing. Okay? And see, what does it say about bad Uncle Esau? Well, let's go to Malachi. We're going to start at Malachi 1:1. The burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith Yahweh, yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith Yahweh? Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith Yahweh power, Yahweh of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom Yahweh hath indignation forever. Now, see, if you were Esau, why would you want to be you? If this is what you were created to be, the wicked, the example of what not to be in the earth. Why would you want to be that? This is why they try and work so hard, as that man said, to use all this money and influence and power to deceive people into believing that they're the chosen people of God, and that they could use what happened in the past to be permanent victims. As he said, you reaping all the benefits of so-called white, which is really Edomite supremacy, or Edomite privilege. You reap all the benefits of Edomite privilege, but yet you got the nerve to speak like you're oppressed as black people, so-called black people. This is what they use their influence to do. Because they can't stand the fact that they are the wicked. And this is why when bad shit happens to them, everybody rallies behind them. And they get tons of support. And as the man said, chattel slavery, the most horrible thing that has ever happened in human history to a nation of people. They're just told, well, it's in the past. As he said, shut the fuck up. Get over it. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. That is why. This is why Jake is always getting the short end of the stick. Because, as according to Job, the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Job 9:24. So for the young man who put this masterful, world-class audio together, this is the reason why that certain group of people act the way they do. This is the reason why they are as violent as they are. This is the whole reason why they oppress Jake the way they do. This is the whole reason why the earth is, as the Bible says, the earth is out of course. The foundations of the earth are out of course. Or as Job says, that even the light, you know what, let me just get that in Job. I'm not going to butcher it because it's said so perfectly well. It says, Job 10:21, it says, before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death. A land of darkness is darkness itself, and of the shadow of death without any order, and where the light is at darkness. This is why the earth is in the condition that it's in, because you have the wicked ruling. And the wicked, they are evil people who wish that they were the Israelites, and they wish that they had the blessing. When you go to Genesis 27, it lets you know of this. Genesis 27 and 26. It says, and his father Isaac said unto him, come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment and blessed him. And he said, see, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which Yahweh hath blessed. Therefore God give thee the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee. Esau is going to serve Jacob and the other nations, but definitely Esau. It says, let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be everyone that cursed thee, and blessed be he that blessed thee. And it came to pass, as soon as Isaac had made an end of blessing Jacob, and Jacob was yet scarce going out from the presence of Isaac his father, that Esau his brother came in from his hunting. And he also had made savory meat and brought it unto his father, and said unto his father, let my father arise and eat of his son's venison, that thy soul may bless me. And Isaac his father said unto him, who art thou? And he said, I am thy son, thy firstborn Esau. And Isaac trembled very exceedingly and said, who? Basically like, who? Oh, man. He finally realized what happened. He said, where is he that have taken venison and bought it me? And I have eaten of all before thou camest, and have blessed him. Yea, and he shall be blessed. And when Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with a great and exceedingly bitter cry, and said unto his father, Bless me, even me also, my father. And he said, Oh, thy brother came with subtlety and have taken away thy blessing. You see, but that's not the case, because the blessing was never meant for him. When you go to Genesis 25, it says that the elder shall serve the younger. It was not meant for Esau to have the blessing. And it says, and he said, Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me? And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, Behold, I have made him thy lord, and all his brethren have I given to him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. So once again, to the brother with that masterful audio footage, this is the whole reason why that particular group of people act and behave the way they do, because they were born and they were made to be the wicked, the example of what not to be and how not to behave. And they got a temporary blessing, whereas Jacob was blessed being the biological heirs, the children of the power. And not only that, they were made perfect with everything. And they are blessed with a kingdom that's going to be eternal. This is why that group of people act the way they do. Because they are not us, and they can't be us, no matter how much they want to put on this facade with the weird ass hats and the curly cues and all that other stuff. Okay, because at the end of the day, we know who we are. The Lord knows who we are. And even they know who they are. Okay, there's no wiggling into this blessing. Not at all. And as sure as hell is no way you can be us. Or they can be us. And until the Lord takes this guy out the way, he's going to continue to do what he does. But hey, he only has a short amount of time now. And this is why his wrath is going full steam ahead. Because as the scripture said, he knows that his time is short. And it can't come any sooner. So that's all I want to say on this. Hope you all were edified. Till the next time, we're going to say shalom.